Welcome to this webinar, and thank you for joining us. I can see that most of the audience has now arrived, so we'll make a start. My name is Guy Potter. I'm working for Gorkana Surveys, one of the directors of Gorkana Surveys, and I have 2 decades experience in market research, both within a market research agency and on the client side. If you want to join the conversation during this webinar, please use the hashtag Gorkana Surveys, and we'll be able to see your questions and comments. This is the second webinar in a series of 3, and today we'll run through the creative considerations of how to devise great surveys, how to frame your questions, and the considerations that always need to be borne in mind. In the first webinar of the series last week, we conducted a live demo and introduced how surveys can be used as part of your PR program. Unfortunately, for which we apologize, a technical gremlin crept in and my screen was not shared for the first few minutes of the webinar. So I will quickly run through a quick demonstration again today. The final webinar, to be held at this time next week, will cover some practical rules for helping you write great questions so that your answers are as accurate, objective, and interpretable as possible. The final webinar will also include a demonstration of how to get the best from your results once your survey is finished. Prior to running through the webinar, we've got a poll of our own, and the poll is, how confident are you when using surveys? So if you could choose one, whether you're very confident, fairly confident, not at all, or not at all confident. I'll give you 20 seconds more to vote. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm now going to close that poll with somewhere in excess of 80% of respondents in. I can see that slightly over half of you are very or fairly confident, and probably around about the other half are not at all confident. So that's quite interesting. There's a range and a different spread of levels of confidence in your experience. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Gorkana Surveys. I'm going to give you an incredibly quick demonstration because I realized that we did talk through some of this last week. So, first of all, you need to give your survey a title that you will remember. So I will call this one Gorkana Webinar 2. You can give it a description, and you can also give it a short survey introduction. I'm going to continue on to the next page, and the survey wizard will guide you through the process of setting up a survey. We're going to set up a single question survey this week, and I will set up a survey. Which of the following would you want saved first in a file? And I apologize if my typing is not as quick as it perhaps should be. Take out that typo. So we're going to put in some electronic goods. So mobile phone, CD console. I'm going to add some more options. So I'm going to add 4 extra options. Add those in. Games console. CD player. laptop, tablet, and I'm not sure. I think some people may not be sure. I am not sure. At this point, you can decide to add more questions. You can decide to randomize the order of your answers. You can decide to add images. You can have the question as an open-ended answer. You can decide to show this answer last. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll only be answering the one question, so we'll continue to the next screen. And the next screen is the targeting screen for our targeting wizard. And at this point, you can choose to target, perhaps by age range, or perhaps by gender. For this survey, I will decide to not target anyone. You can also decide on the screen how many responses you need to ask. So for this survey, so you can see the price going up as the number of responses comes up. We're going to ask 500 people, so the price going up to £126 for 500 people. On the next screen is the scheduling screen. And it gives you two options for scheduling. You can either run it as soon as possible, as we're going to do here, or you can set the date or time in the future to coincide with an event or a marketing program that you might have running. You can also decide whether you want to repeat the survey. So you can either repeat it indefinitely or repeat it at limited intervals of time. So to coincide with your tracking of customer opinion or a crisis that you may need to monitor on a continual basis. The next screen, we have two copyright options. The first copyright option is ownership, and you can own the data forever, in which case we will charge you a 5% surcharge, but no one will ever see your questions or your data. The second option is a licensed option, where you can license the data, in which case after 3 months we may take a look at it and we might decide that we're interested in the survey and we will write a blog piece about interesting surveys we have seen. Continue to the next screen, and the final screen is the confirmation screen. On the confirmation screen you have your final chance to check your answers, or check your question and answers exactly what you required, and then press submit. After submitting the survey, it is reviewed by a trained market researcher, and if the survey will benefit from changes, it will be returned to you with advice, at which point you can make the changes and resubmit the survey. Assuming the survey is fine to go ahead, it is then moderated and it will go live. Go back to the presentation. I'll take you through the remainder of the presentation. When devising a survey for PR, the main goal is to aim for a nugget. One genuine nugget of information is worth more than numerous pieces of information that elicit the so what response from readers and journalists. Finding the right nugget will act as a hook to get the journalists interested in the press release, and will ensure the release creates successful PR and is read by your target audience. The hook will need to be different for every brand, publication and target audience. And it is creating this hook I will describe in the bulk of this webinar. You need to keep 3 things in mind when looking for your angle. Firstly, whoever your client is, be they large or small, well-known or obscure, it is critical that they are foremost in your mind. Does the PR tie in with their brand or service? Does it make sense for them to be saying this? Is there a rationale why that client is commissioning the survey? Are the questions that you need to ask yourself when deciding whether the survey is right for your client. The client's stance, position in the market shapes the type of PR survey that is likely to gain traction and that can be run. Secondly, it's important that the target publication must be your second main consideration. Are they likely to be interested in your story? Do they publish similar stories? Will the tone of the piece gel with the publication? Is it likely to resonate with journalists and readers? Will the readers really be interested in what you have to say? If the answer is yes, then story-based PR is likely to have legs and stand a good chance of being picked up. Final consideration is, of course, the target audience. Do readers from the target audience, whether they're young, old, male or female, read the title? Are they likely to be interested in your story? Is it likely to resonate with them? Is the information that you collect likely to interest them? It is crucial that the target audience will read and be attracted to the piece to ensure the client's name is read and the PR is successfully picked up. Tip number one is to aim for the intersection of the Venn diagram. Your dream headline has to sit in the intersection. There must be a rationale why the client is sponsoring this research. It has to fit with the publication. The dream headline has to be of interest to the publication's journalists. Finally, your target audience must be interested in the subject of your story, must be interested in the findings from your research. If your dream headline does not sit at the intersection of the Venn diagram, it is much less likely to succeed and much less likely to resonate with your audience and be picked up by journalists. A story based on staycationing in the UK, achieved by Travelodge recently in the Mirror, is an excellent example of survey-based PR that establishes a strong raison d'etre between the brand, in this case budget hotels, Travelodge, and the topic of research, saving money by vacationing in the UK. The story about which were the top 10 resorts in the UK neatly married the survey, the client's properties, and advice on how to save money. Perfect for a piece of PR from a budget hotel chain in the Mirror, aimed at the Mirror's readers as we emerge from our longest recession in recent memory. And what they did particularly well here was hitting the intersection in the Venn diagram. If we take a hypothetical example, in this case, the client being the Carphone Warehouse and the target publication in the Metro, with young male, female readers being the demographic target for the press release, what we're looking for is a dream headline that fits in that intersection of the Venn diagram. So they may feel or you may feel that the dream headline is 4 out of 10 people under 30 would want their mobile phone saved first in a fire. That could resonate with readers as part of a longer press release, weaving in the name of the client, the Carphone Warehouse, and information about Carphone Warehouse other products. The question we have set up and is now running could yield the dream headline. We will need to view the answers to see how it has worked at the end of this webinar, and we'll quickly dip into the answers and just see if we can see any other headlines coming out. When we view the results, we may have to adjust the headline as well, but it's possible something better may come out, such as women save their phones and men want to save their laptops. What we may find, and what we will take a look at the end of the webinar, is whether our initial thoughts of the dream headline were correct, or whether something stronger like that is likely to come out. Another example could be Thomas Cook, who wants to gain exposure in the Sun, and the dream headlines that they think will be picked up may be 70% of British men will not go on holiday during the World Cup. This would likely resonate with young male readers of the Sun, is likely to be picked up by journalists, and there is a strong rationale why Thomas Cook is sponsoring this research. The survey is simple to set up, and the headline could easily be envisaged in the Sun, achieving the PR that Thomas Cook requires. So it would take you moments to set up this simple question: would you go on holiday during the World Cup? Yes or no. Conducting a quick pilot would reveal the likelihood that the dream headline could be achieved. Clearly the survey and the headline will not work following England's performance in Brazil. However, a quick pilot study of perhaps 100 respondents run 3 weeks ago before the World Cup has started would have shown whether it would have succeeded in yielding the required results. Linking the brand childline, who want to get a serious message out and raise awareness of bullying, could be achieved with a survey on the number of people who have been bullied, with the dream headline showing that bullying was not uncommon in the past and the story in the press being that it still goes on. Again, the survey itself, the question itself, is simple to set up. When you were young, and at school, were you ever bullied? Did you ever suffer bullying, witness bullying, or neither suffer or witness bullying? The question could be aimed and sit squarely at the intersection of the Venn diagram. There is a strong rationale why Childline are sponsoring the survey. The Guardian, the Times, and related publications may well be interested in the findings, and the readers are likely to be interested in the story and the message that bullying continues. This is a single question survey, but subsequent questions that build upon this story could also be included in the survey. The simplest way to ascertain whether any of your clients could benefit from survey-based PR is to list your brand, their target audience, and the publication, and aim for that intersection. What I've done here is I've listed a number of brands, a number of target audiences, their publication, and a dream headline in red, with the final column being the question that could yield that dream headline. So coming up with dream headline and question actually becomes reasonably simple to do and straightforward. And then running a quick pilot will tell you whether your results have been successful at creating the dream headline, such as move over magnolia, orange it is. If you ran the question, if you had to choose one color to paint your house, which would it be? This would be perfect for Homebase, B&Q Dulux, Farrow & Ball, to achieve a PR story in the press. Specsavers, Ray-Bans, any other glasses brand could run a question using images. George Clooney reigns supreme in glasses could be the headline that they're aiming for. And they could use the question, which celebrity looks best in glasses? And have a number of celebrities, pictures of celebrities wearing their glasses for the respondent to react to. Finally on this page, Hotpoint, Whirlpool, Dyson could achieve successful PR using the question, which of these chores do you try and avoid? And finding out that men avoid washing up while women avoid hoovering. Maybe PR that resonates with the Metro Evening Standard, Good Housekeeping, and would resonate and interest their readers. What I'm going to do now is go back into the survey that's running live and go and look at the results and see. There we are. Survey's running live. We now have 31% of people have answered the survey. So I'll click into the results. We asked 500 people. And if I view the results, so we were looking for a headline about mobile phones for the Carphone warehouse. And here come the results. 160 people have answered since 15:07, 7 minutes past 3. Mobile phones, the first thing I'd look at is that a majority of people are going to save or want their mobile phone saved first with 48%. So half of people want their mobile phone saved first out of the other electronic goods in their house. If we then look for a story that builds upon that, we can look at it by gender. Women are more likely to want to save their mobile phone than men. So that's almost 60% versus around about 40%. So women 1.5 times more likely to want to save their mobile phone. If we look at it by income, saving mobile phone slightly lower amongst those people who earn £20,000 to £40,000. And if we look at it by age range, again, lowest amongst the older people who are more likely to want to save a laptop, and higher amongst younger people and middle-aged people. What we also have at this point is we have location-based reports. So for surveys that are larger than 200 respondents, we also show the results with location. So you're able to look at location. So for instance, London, laptops and mobile phones are people equally want to save laptops and mobile phones. In the south of England, people are most likely to want to save their mobile phone in the south of England. In Scotland and Northern Ireland, there's a very small base size still, but it will increase as the survey runs. So what you can do is you can go in instantly after you've got your first respondent in, and you can see the way the survey is going and whether you are able to get a survey-based PR story out of the results. So looking again through it, you can get the results by gender, you can get the results by income, age range, and location. And that is without having to specify those questions and without having to ask those. Those demographic breaks are given to you free in the online reporting that comes automatically with the online report once your survey is underway. There are a couple of options that come later. Once the survey is finished, you have the option of filtering, so you're able to look at perhaps young people in London and see how their answers compare to young people in the south of England or the north of England. So you can look and see if there is any other story coming out that will create a stronger story for your target publication and your target audience. You can also share the results simply by clicking on share and sharing that page with the Google Current Surveys URL, and that you can share within your company or within perhaps a client. You have the option also of exporting data and looking at the data yourself, and if you want to take it into a different market research package, you can take that data and then look at it further. Okay, so now I will go back to the presentation. We've got a few minutes left. So if there are any questions, that would be great. Yeah, hopefully we've answered the first question that's come in, which was, can survey results be broken down regionally? We do break them down. There were 5 locations that we've got there. London, the north, the south, Scotland, and the Midlands and Wales. I will just quickly scroll through some of the other questions that I'm getting through. Quickly scroll front. Here's one. Do we give advice? You get advice in 2 ways. You can either, which preempts my next slide, you can get advice by speaking to your account manager for advice or help. You can alternatively submit a support ticket via the website, and that will come directly to us, and we will give you advice. So if you are looking for advice on creating a survey for a specific client and you want some ideas, submit a support ticket. You can also get advice finally after you've submitted the survey. We will take a look at the survey to ensure that it adheres to best market research practice and that it will yield the results that you are expecting and that you are aiming for. I've got another question here. It says, what angles in the press do you see picked up most on in press? I think I was looking at differences between whether the press is interested in differences by age and reporting on those, or differences in gender. I think what we've seen works particularly well is when the differences are as large as possible and create as strong a story as possible. So for instance, if women are very different to men, that's the kind of difference that the press like to pick up on. If younger people have a very different opinion to older people, that is also one of the differences that that the press would like to pick up on, and I'd like you to print. Something that resonates very strongly and makes a lot of sense and is interesting and shows up a difference is really where you're trying to aim. It's getting to that nugget of information that says, that's really interesting, that's a big, strong difference. Is what the press is mainly interested in. I've got a couple more. Should I conduct a pilot? This is something I talked more about last week, but a pilot, if you're going to run a survey of 1,000 or 2,000 people, typically it makes a lot of sense to run a pilot. You can run a pilot of 50 or perhaps 100 people and get results back. We had 160 people, I think it was. They get results back within minutes, basically, and you can see how the results are forming and seeing what kind of results they are. So you can run a pilot, just check it's working as you expect, and that saves you running the longer survey, so you can then adjust your longer survey. I've got another one here. Can we target specific respondents, e.g. students or by job? We cannot target specific respondents by student or job. We don't have that ability. We have the ability to target by age range, and we have the ability to target by gender. So you could ask women under the age of 30 your question. So we could have asked that question to the question that we just demonstrated to women under the age of 30. We decided not to, but you can target to that level, but not by students or by job at the moment. Got a question specifically about Scotland. At the moment, we cannot target respondents specifically in Scotland. We are a broad UK approach. We have a broad UK approach, and we don't target specifically from Scotland. In the future, that's certainly one of the things that we are discussing, and it's one of the pieces of development that we are considering. But at the moment, no. At the moment, no. Just a couple more questions. How much does it cost? We are £1,000 for 5 questions to 1,000 respondents. You can ask more than 5 questions, and the cost decreases as you ask more questions. So that it is possible to log on to the website, go to gorkanasurveys.com, and look, open up an account. It's free to do so, and then you can see the cost changing as you change the parameters of your survey. I think that is the last question that I've been handed. So what I'm going to do is just quickly wrap up. You can sign up at gorkanasurveys.com. It's free to do so. You can get advice or help from your account manager. Alternatively, submit a support ticket if you need specific advice or help on a specific survey. And that just leaves me to say thank you for attending this webinar. That's the second in the series of 3 webinars. The third is writing great surveys, which is discusses more about the practical rulebook and some practical examples of great questions and what you really need to look out for when devising questions. So in order to find your nugget and then create your credible PR surveys. So thank you very much for attending, and hopefully I will see you this time next week. Thank you.